Educational games usually incite a collective yawn from its intended demographic, but every now and again there'll be one that holds its own as an actual gameplay experience. Sierra's Spelling Blizzard is one of such games.
Spell search.
The objective is to save a village from what can only be interpreted as the adverse effects of global warming.
You are right. The glacial river is flooding, and our home could be destroyed. Pick letters up in order by walking over them.
Spelling Blizzard can best be described as a puzzle speller, blending in spelling lessons with action-based puzzle solving. Every level begins with picking up letter tiles to spell the specified word. Once you collect them all in order, a raft will come to take you away to the more educational portion of the game. In this section, you must respell the word you just collected in addition to several other random words. The number of words you must spell to move forward increases at intervals of 10 levels.
Penguins are harmless, yet sometimes get in the way.
It's not as simple as just picking up letters, though. You'll find animals to both aid and harm you in this spelling triathlon. After feeding a whale some mackerel, you can hop on his back to travel across the river. If you get trampled by a moose, it's an automatic restart. Wolves will have the same fate, only they will also chase you if you get too close. Inanimate dangers such as the arrow-shooting trees, wind clouds, and fire demons will also harm you. Hungry polar bears, like the whales, can be fed mackerel to momentarily not maul you. Two other animals are notable for being obnoxious puzzle ruiners. The walrus, while harmless, will go out of his way from the water to block your path. And then worst of all, the Yeti. The Yeti throws disorienting snowballs that can make you walk over an incorrect letter. But his worst attribute is blocking you into a corner, forcing a restart of all your hard work. He's a questionable inclusion, to say the least. As you journey further up the river, you'll soon discover just how long and eventually tedious it can get. The game has over 100 levels, but all it takes is 1/3 of this to experience most of what Spelling Blizzard has to offer. The difficulty begins at a nice brisk pace through the snowbound land, but that abruptly comes to an end way before the midway point. For a game aimed at children 9 to 12, it sure feels like they designed it for a much older age range. The puzzle designers pull a fast one every so often, misleading players to accidentally misspell a word. It's a great example of educating with gameplay. And with hearing one of Yobi's tiresome rhymes as punishment, it's a motivator to make few mistakes.
Take your time and spell with care. The correct answer will soon be there.
Spelling words correctly is the easy part, though. The hard part is figuring out how to maneuver around traps such as the arrow-shooting trees without having to completely restart a level. In this particular level, you can use the walrus to block arrows while paying mind to the gaps between the trees. Having to work with multiple environmental hazards and animals requires a bit of premeditated thought.
Trinkets are highly prized but difficult to collect.
You'll uncover optional trinkets a bit further in the game. They exist solely for challenge instead of a sorely needed level skip.
Potions are rare and will bestow great power to the holder.
Potions, on the other hand, do provide momentary power. You'll be able to channel your inner Jesus by walking on water for one, and you'll be immune to fire for another. Sometimes they're essential for beating a level, so it's important to always look out for these magical potions. You can't rely on potions alone to beat most levels, though. Good old-fashioned, astute puzzle solving can conquer many of Spelling Blizzard's more challenging conundrums. A clever, alternative, out-of-the-box solution can often clear rooms, too. For instance, while not the intended way to solve this level, you could slide the block of ice to trap both the polar bears and the wolf, leaving you to reach the other letter tiles with risk-free ease. Elemental devices like the blocks of ice prove to be an integral part of the game. You'll use them to block fire, arrows, and gusts of wind that would otherwise make completion difficult, if not completely impossible. The blocks can infinitely be used on bodies of water, but they can sometimes slide right off the edge. In a similar fashion, the giant snowballs can also be used in water, but they melt, so you have to plan accordingly. If you mistime it, it may leave you stranded or sink right beneath you. Spelling Blizzard is cold in numerous ways.
Let's try that one again. I am Yobi.
Interestingly enough, this isn't Yobi's first outing. Before the rugged, snowy tundras of Spelling Blizzard came Spelling Jungle, previously known as Yobi's Basic Spelling Tricks. This game functions almost exactly like Spelling Blizzard, right down to the sounds and sayings. With the jungle motif, you can now build bridges, push jeeps, and feed zebras. Even the spelling portion is practically identical, and it explains the yellow mask they left on the sprite of Spelling Blizzard's main character.
Motel. Wonderful.
Both games accomplish what they set out to achieve, and that's teach grade school kids how to spell. The words aren't difficult for a grown adult, but they do feature some of those tricky words and homophones that may mislead younger audiences. If you misspell a word, Yobi will say each individual letter, and you'll undoubtedly come across it again later in the game. Though sometimes he doesn't pronounce things very clearly, and you'll wind up misunderstanding what the word was supposed to be.
So is spelled S-A-L-T. So, spell the word business.
The in-game portion even tries to break down the etymology of words to make the player better understand how to spell and relate different sounds together, proving that even the fun aspect of Spelling Blizzard still has its teaching chops.
Pronouncing a word correctly is fine. To spell a word right is most divine.
For all that went well, Spelling Blizzard isn't without its share of gameplay gaffes. While the Yeti incites fits of rage from players of all ages, it's the moments where you're stranded on an island that are most defeating of all. The game can't even cut you slack with the raft. Can't get on the raft? It's reset time. What makes Spelling Blizzard tedious is that it feels so elongated, as evidenced by the villagers on top of the spelling block. After level 70, the game just stops adding people to rescue. And way before that, all the new elemental features and creatures are introduced very early on, as if the developers didn't think anyone would ever complete it. While the fun lasts, though, Spelling Blizzard is an excellent and challenging educational game for a computer lab, but it just falls short of individual greatness in the long run.
Let's try that one again.